And just like that,
We're
we were live. Let's turn my WhatsApp off because I don't like it when it tings. Georgina, got the hoodie back on. Winter is here, some have said. But I don't know. Mike, you still wearing shorts for the next couple of weeks?
No shorts. No shorts, but I'll still keep the t-shirt going. A few more months yet.
Andy, I've got a feeling you're wearing shorts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not minus temperatures just yet.
But Georgina's got the hoodie back on. I had my hoodie on last week, and it was comfy. Is yours comfy?
It is, yeah. I love it. It gets a bit chilly in my house come the evening, so yeah, I love my hoodie.
Yeah, good. I am wearing some of the new merch, as you can see. I'm not really a hat person. I don't suit a hat, as you can tell. The brows sort of dip half in, half out.
Yeah,
Makes me look a bit strange. But the reason I got the hat is because we've got one to give away today. So I'll remind people as we're going through. But the best question of the night from the public that gets asked will get the free avocado hats. So this is on offer. This is embroidered. These retail price at about £99 a piece on Amazon. So it's a real good price. And if you want one, not the one that I've been wearing, you can get your own fresh one with a tag. Then ask us a question. Question of the night gets one of the new pieces of merch to rock around in those cold mornings and cold evenings that are coming soon. But talking of cold, base rate hike straight off the bat, boom, there we go, 0.5%. There were rumours that it could have been 0.75%, 0.75. They didn't go as high as that. It's the highest it's been since 2008, Mike.
Yeah.
How was that market?
I can remember that. I can remember seeing a base rate like that. 2.2. That wasn't fun, was it?
No, that wasn't a fun market. Do you think there will be any similarities to the 2008 market, or do you think we're in a different world altogether?
Different world altogether. Because back then, it was mortgage companies didn't want to lend, did they? You couldn't get a mortgage.
Yeah.
Unless you had a super high deposit. But now you can still buy. It's still, things are still moving, it's going on. I've got loads of thoughts on it, mate. Loads.
Yeah, it's a very different world. And I think one thing that we saw, Georgina, we get the mortgage rates. They came through this morning, I think, actually, from Uncle Dave from AFP in Wokingham. The best deals on the market at the moment. And one of the things that he put in the notes was that we'd seen quite significant hikes from lenders in the last 7 days in anticipation for this. So although a lot of people say we don't know what comes next, well, actually, we kind of do, because we've seen the rates come out. And not naming any names of particular lenders that have gone really high, Santander jumped a whole 0.8% on pretty much all of their rates. So now we've seen those rates. Do you think that's going to have a significant impact in the market for the next 6 hours until the next big reveal? What do you reckon, Georgina?
I think people are going to hold off, aren't they, on making a decision until tomorrow, let's be honest. But I'm of the view of what goes up must come down in a way in terms of these rates. So as Uncle Dave put it, perhaps if you're on a tracker, that might be more attractive. And obviously for the last year or two, we've been saying to lock in, and perhaps that is now changing. So, yeah, I think having a decent broker is, they're worth their weight in gold. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We had Uncle Dave on here a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure after all of the stuff goes on tomorrow in the mini budget, we can get a broker on hopefully next week or the following. Andy, you're in the podcast suite, looking very soundproofed there. You can shout and no one will hear you. It's fantastic. But what I would like to ask you is, do you think? I mean, you're Slough, Berkshire, that type of the world. You've worked in Bracknell, you've worked in Yateley, you've worked in Windsor. So we're in affluent areas. But do you expect that people will trigger change based on the rate hikes, or does the mortgage cost what the mortgage costs? What's your kind of take on it?
I think I said it a few weeks ago. I got quite a blasé approach to it, but it's kind of irrelevant what your mortgage payment is. At the end of the day, you're buying an asset that's going to go up in value. So if you're paying a slightly higher interest rate, probably the curve of appreciation is parallel, if not stronger. So you're still making money on a monthly basis in a roundabout way. And if you want to move, you move. And if you can't afford to move, you don't move.
Yeah.
If the interest rates are 0%, 5%, or 10%, if you want a house with a garden and you ain't got one, you're going to buy a house with a garden, in my opinion. If you want to move, you'll move, and you'll just budget around what the interest is. And if interest is higher, then the amount you chip away at your mortgage is less until the two level out again. But like I said, if you want to move, I still think people are going to move.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, aren't we? We're going to see if that's the case. It's a harsh and direct but truth of the reality there, Andy, I think. And, you know, if you are joining us now on the live chat, pop us a like so we know you can hear us. We're streaming across multiple platforms tonight. Facebook, we're in groups, we're on Georgina's page, Mike's, Andy's page, YouTube, LinkedIn. So just pop us a like so you know we can hear us. And as I mentioned earlier, the best question of the night gets one of these unbelievably talentedly embroidered, handcrafted by angels, and they do cost £99 on Amazon, and you can win one of those. Sanjay has come in. He's asked for a question to be thrown into the pot. I haven't read it. I've just thrown it in. Hopefully it's not a joke, because sometimes it catches me out. But what advice would you give to these buyers today who have an offer agreed but not processed their mortgage application yet? I think we would all say, get it done. ASAP.
Why haven't you done it already?
Yeah, if you've got an offer agreed and your application is not submitted, you're not getting the right advice. I spoke to a lot of brokers this week, and you should be getting these locked in ASAP. We've seen hikes already, so my advice would have been to get it done a week ago and save yourself 0.75, 0.8%. The cheapest loan to value deal at 90% with a 10% deposit now is 4% plus. That's the first time this week that that's been the case all year. So that's the way rates are going. They're going up. So lock in ASAP is the advice I would give to those buyers, Sanjay. What advice would you give to people, Mike, that are looking to exchange tomorrow morning? What would you say to them based on the mini budget?
I think everyone's on. Well, you can. It depends on it. You can exchange. I should have an exchange tomorrow, but are they going to do it? We're all sort of thinking this stamp duty change or holiday will have to sort of immediately kick in tomorrow. Because if there's a delay, if it is this will start in the new year, it's just going to cause a hell of a lot of problems, isn't it? People will just down tools and hold off.
Yeah. What we hope is they don't do anything silly like that, Georgina, don't we? Is if they decide that, right, anyone between now and the next 4 weeks, it's normal. And then after 4 weeks, anything that exchange and completes will save 15 grand or whatever it turns out. That would just cause absolute turmoil in the market, I would think. But they can't do that, can they?
Surely they're not that stupid, surely, because they know what would happen. Look what happened. We know what happened last time. So it just, floods of people just wanted to sell. So
wasn't the holiday when the last stamp duty holiday during sort of the COVID years? Wasn't that announced and then it kicked in straight away, or I can't remember.
I think the deadlines were set, weren't they? They were the real problem. I think actually,
when they announced it, when they initially said, I think it was like in June or July in 2020, and they announced there's a stamp duty holiday. Did it happen straight away?
Yeah. Anything that hadn't exchanged.
Yeah.
So if you'd exchanged and you hadn't completed, I'm pretty sure you still had to pay the stamp duty tax. But it was anything that hadn't exchanged. I think I might be wrong. It might be completed actually. Either way, I know there was a lot of happy people
and a lot of unhappy people.
And yeah, a lot of unhappy people that are completed, a few weeks just before. Painful. What are we predicting? What do we think is going to happen? What, Andy? You're a man of direct opinions.
Well, I think if Liz is listening, I completed on my house at the start of the month, so I think she should backdate it to anything from the 1st of September. But no, I think obviously anything that happens is obviously good news. But like anything, there's two sides to the story, and I think solicitors at the moment have only just recovered, if they have even recovered, from the last stamp duty holiday. And my fear is that if we do something similar or comparable, there's a lot of solicitors that will be going in with pre-written notices tomorrow to quit, because I don't think they can cope with a COVID holiday or stamp duty holiday round 2, because they've only just recovered from round 1.
Conveyancing HR is in a world of pain. Because
now, I think it'll be completely different now.
You reckon? Because there's less transactions, or?
I think that with the interest rates going up, this is like a counterbalance.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I feel. So I think that certain parts of the market, like lower down, like 300, 400,000, if they completely scrap stamp duty, I see that end of the market being really buoyant. Because like first-time buyers, if you're a first-time buyer, you've got some savings on stamp duty. But if you're moving home, let's say you've sold a 2-bed flat and you're upsizing, you're buying the same house at 400,000, but you're paying like £5,000 stamp duty.
Yeah.
£10,000 stamp duty. So I think that will be really buoyant. And then higher up the market, I think 700, 800,000 pounds and that level, things will start selling, but I don't see it being a complete fire sale like it used to be and going nuts.
It's a great point, and we're going to have that conversation. I'm going to answer the question below that's coming on YouTube. So thank you for the question. When does your interest rate get locked in with the lender? Is it when your application is approved, or not until you completed and your agreement is live? If there's any mortgage advisors listening, and you're welcome to correct me, but my understanding is as soon as your application is submitted with the lender, so you're in the hands of the broker, the paperwork, but once it's submitted as a full application, then it is locked in. That is the rate confirmed. So you don't have to worry about getting to mortgage offer, but you do have to get the paperwork, and you need the full set of paperwork for the broker to lock it in with the lender, and then that is the agreed rate. Normally you would find that they either last 3 or 6 months after offer. So that's how long you've got to get them through. And you can get some extensions on them as well. Hopefully that answers that question. Back on the stamp duty chat, though, you raise a really good point, Mike, because I agree. And what's frustrated me on reading over the last 24 hours on the press is the same media channels, same newspapers that have said the market's going to fall by 18% in 2023, or we're on the curve of a crash, have really talked the market down in recent weeks. The same media channels have now come out and said stamp duty is not the answer, and first-time buyers are going to find it even harder to get on the ladder because we're in the hottest market we've seen for 20 years. Like the same newspaper in the space of 2 weeks. It's blown my mind, and that's the problem with the media, Georgina, isn't it? Is they will show you what they want to show you, not necessarily what the truth is, which I know is a different conversation, but it does blow my mind. But what's your points on what Michael said there? Do you feel this is the way the government are trying to control the seesaw and the balance of a market with interest rates going up, cost of living crisis? They're almost throwing this in there to just keep things balanced out.
Yeah, I think they've got to be seen. It's a new prime minister, so they always come in and try and put their stamp on things. Yeah, I think she wants to make her point, and she knows this is an important industry because it affects so many other. If the housing market, if that crashes, then it affects so many other industries and jobs and livelihoods. So it's important that it keeps going. And obviously, where changes can be made to keep it going, then they should do it. Obviously we would say that being estate agents. So my prediction for tomorrow, I said earlier, sort of, would it be another holiday? But I think they're just going to affect the bands, and it'll be less for the middle to higher end of the market. I think will pay less, in my opinion.
Okay, so
You're wrong.
what, 300 to 500 like it was before, up to 500k, there might be a saving, something like that, rather than paying 15 grand stamp duty, you pay 5 or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that would possibly be quite, obviously it'd be welcome for a lot of people, but I think really the lower end of the market is where they need to help people save if they can. Middle sort of lower end, I think.
Okay, that's a good prediction. Michael, what do you reckon? What do you think they might throw in there? What's Lizzie got in her bag?
I think it's just going to be just a holiday. Just scrap it, and then
Whole lot.
scrap the whole thing, and then I think it'll be they'll reassess it next year or early part of next year, and then do some sort of reform, like Georgina just said. They'll change it up. I've heard so many different things today. I've heard it will just be a holiday for first-time buyers, but I don't see what benefit that really does anybody apart from first-time buyers.
Yeah, because I think where the problem has been for the last 20 months has been that there's not been enough property. So first-time buyers and people that are looking to upsize are struggling to find a property, which makes it more competitive and it makes it harder for the first-time buyer. So, if the stamp duty holiday was, let's say it's the same as before, it's abolished up to 500k, and the saving is therefore after as well, up to the 500k, that potentially brings a lot of people onto the market that can move again, that can afford to move again, which gives the first-time buyers the properties that are not available now, and gives the second-time buyers the properties that are not available now. And if that increases the amount of flow of property, then it levels the prices out and makes it more affordable for the amount of demand that's there. And I'd like to see that. I think that would be good, because more stock, more buyers, more affordability. In reality, everyone wins on that point, I think, Andy, and that would be quite nice to see. So if they did do exactly the same as what they did last time, I can only think that has a very good positive. I would love to see what Mike said, and they just scrap it for the rest of the year. That would be fantastic news. I can't see that, but what we do know is over the last 2 years that the amount of stamp duty tax revenue that the government have brought in has been astronomical, and I think we've had like record years for stamp duty tax income. So they've got a bit of buffer, they've got a pot there. We will have to see, won't we? We will have to see. In terms, going back on the base rate then, so Sanjay raised a really good point for buyers. What would you say to people that are in the position where they are actively looking at the moment, they haven't found a property? What advice would you give to them at the moment, Andy? Because obviously the mortgage rates, they are going up. Maybe when they started looking, it's now going to cost them £200 a month more. So I know you said people that move will move, but £200 a lot of money to people, expecting that utility prices will be up as well. So what advice would you give to them? Would you say look a little lower, change the location, stop the search? What kind of advice would you be giving to those people that would like to move? They don't have to move, but it's spiraling up at the moment, pricing.
Yeah, so for like first-time buyers, for example, would just be to be more realistic with what your budget can get you. Remembering that your first property is not your forever property. So although we'd like to tick as many boxes as we can, and I'm not saying go and buy something that's 300 miles away from your dream location, but be more realistic that you're only going to be there 18, 24, 36 months, and actually make a compromise, get on the property ladder. And as inflation rises and interest rate rises, you can sit there pretty with your fixed rate mortgage for the next 5 years, watch all the rates increase around you, knowing that you've got your property that's going up in value.
Mike, what do you reckon?
There's never a good time, is there? There's always a bad time, good time, of the right time to buy anything. I think if you need to buy, you want to buy, just do it. Just just get on with it. I think that the difference now from the start of the year, when we were saying at the start of the year that, you know, this is the cheapest, the best time for you to buy. It's the cheapest time you can get property. But there were so many people on these 1%, 2% mortgages. These houses were selling in excess of, weren't they? They were going well over, like 20, 30,000 pounds over. And I think we were talking about earlier, this to me is just like a normal market.
Yeah.
Where it might sell at the asking price, which is great, or it might sell at 98% of the asking price, where people aren't just so lavish with their offers or desperate with their offers.
Yeah, I think we're hoping that we're going to see the panic buying element removed from the marketplace. And I think that would be really nice to see, because it would keep everything a bit calmer, keep everything a bit more controlled. And I talked to a lot of estate agency owners up and down the country, Georgina, and one thing that I think a lot of the good ones have said is if the vendor is not greedy, and if the estate agent is not sales tactical with an overvaluing technique, and they're honest with the client. So that's two things that we've got a challenge on our hands anyway. If that happens, the agent does the right thing, the seller does the right thing, they price it right, they will sell to a good buyer at a good price. There will be good interest. You've got a pick of good selection of buyers and hopefully multiple offers, and you're in a position to move on to the next chapter, the goal, the reason why you're looking to sell. Then we're in a market where that happens very quickly and easily. But if you do price too high, or you do go online too much money, it does feel like there's a bit of staleness around that property when it starts to reduce and it hasn't launched at the right price initially. So is that the advice you're giving your clients at the moment, is don't be fooled, don't be greedy, do it right and get the right result? Have I given you the answer to that question?
I'm not really sure what the question is, but yeah, I think what you're trying to say is, yeah, if it's priced right and the marketing's right, then it will sell. That's all well and good for conventional sort of family homes, where you haven't got issues with developers charging extortionate fees and things like that on a development and things. So for conventional houses, yes, absolutely, if they're priced correctly, then yes, they are certainly selling. My advice would be not to listen to agents that are coming in at really high values and not being able to back that up with evidence, recent evidence, because the prices, they're not continuing to climb like they were at, say, the start of the year. So, they have sort of leveled off. I think that's kind of clear to see, but I'm still seeing so many properties coming on that are still at the sort of ambitious level, and they're not even that special. There's nothing special about these houses for them to warrant such a crazy asking price, and that's where you've got to be careful of. If you've got to have a reason, whether it's extension potential or you've put in a kitchen a couple of years ago and it's absolutely got quartz worktops, there's got to be something for you to command that higher asking price, especially when there's a lot more choice for people at the moment. There certainly is in Woodley anyway. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's a good mini update on Woodley and your advice as well there. No, I like that, because I don't know what question I asked you. I just sort of started.
I can't remember either.
So you worked your magic there. Well done. What about Slough? And then I'll come to Michael on High Wycombe. But in terms of Slough and in terms of the buyer demands and the types of property and the marketplace, because Woodley to Slough is just two different marketplaces altogether. So, and then we come to sort of High Wycombe and Buckinghamshire, where Mike is, and again, just totally different marketplaces. So what's the world of Slough saying, Andy?
So I think, like, touching on Georgina's point, you can have different family homes on the same street, but a lot of Slough is quite heavily flats and leasehold. That flat is identical to the one that's directly below you and above you and next to you. It's the same flat. So if you're on at 250 or they're on at 250, there's no comparable evidence that yours is worth 275 or 300. Now, I've gone out to valuations before and seen a wide range, and I mean a wide range, on a 2-bedroom flat, some at 250, some at 350. Obviously, 350 sat there for 6-9 months and not sold, and the 250 one's under offer. Now, you can easily go onto Rightmove and see the comparable evidence for a 2-bedroom flat in Slough, but people, for some reason, still get kind of forced into it by an agent who promises 350, knowing full well they're not going to achieve it. So I think going back to what Georgina said is, do your due diligence, call the bluff on the agent if needs be, or go on to Rightmove yourself and come up with a price and see which agent does it. But never ever get one agent out and just go with what they say. I'd always say get 2 or 3 out, take an average and get a feel for what you like.
Yeah, fair advice. Yeah, appreciate that. And what about over in sort of your neck of the woods, Michael? How are things looking over there at the moment? Is there much different in the last sort of 6 or 8 weeks?
It's the same sort of thing. What I've really noticed over the school holiday period is just price reductions where houses have come on the market. Like the guys were saying, they're coming on a higher figure, and within a fortnight or towards the end of the month, that's what happens, isn't it? When it gets towards the end of the month, they're forced into reducing their price. And if you're one of those people who've put your property on the market in the school holidays and the summer holidays, and after 2 weeks you've been bullied into reducing by 5%, 10%, which I have seen in and around High Wycombe. You need to come on market and change estate agents. It's really bad. If it's on at the right money, you get viewings. One of my houses that I listed on Tuesday, this coming weekend's got 15 viewings booked in on it. Listed on Tuesday, it's got 15, but it's the right price. I sat with the sellers and went through everything. It's just the right money, and buyers relate to that. And if the stamp duty scraps tomorrow, I'm sure I'll have double the amount of viewings on it.
And I think when it comes on at the right money, if there is someone that's prepared to do that little bit extra financially because it's just the perfect home for them, then someone will pay over if it's the right thing for them. But if no one pays over and you get the right price, you get multiple offers, or you get a couple of offers, you get to choose the right buyer at the right money, and everyone's winning really. And we don't know what the prices are going to do between now and the end of the year. But the gut feeling tells us, with the way things have gone at the moment, is we're not going to see a drastic drop. I'm going to pop in the notes for everyone, just in case anyone's wondering. We're talking about pricing, without talking to an estate agent. This is a free house price report. I've thrown it in all the comments for everyone and in all the individual pages. And if you're watching and you're local and you're just wondering how much your property's worth, feel free to use that calculator. It's off the back of our website. And it's totally free, and it will just give you a rough idea. It's about 80% precise. Sometimes it gets it bang on, sometimes it gets it way out. So if you've got questions afterwards and you want to ask us, then feel free to give your local agent a shout, and we will be able to help on that as well. The next thing that I was wondering is, what are the conversations in the living rooms you're having with sellers now? What's their view of what is going on in the marketplace? So when you're going out and seeing people, Georgina, or just general chatter in networking meetings, what are the public kind of saying to you? Are they confused? Do they know what they think is going to happen? I mean, I'm on TikTok a lot and I see all sorts of diverse comments, from people that think the prices are going up to the market's crashing, to my eyebrows are epic, like whatever it may be. There's a lot of conversations on there. So what chats are you having with the public?
So I've had buyers that are saying, "Oh, I know the prices are going down." I'm like, "Oh, do you?"
Okay.
So I think that's the media doom and gloom that they're listening to. So actually in a kitchen today, I was on a valuation in Woodley, and I brought up Rightmove, put in their postcode, and we looked at how many houses are currently on the market that are in direct competition with that property. And there were 12 within the certain radius between 450 and 550. And this house happens to be sitting right in the middle of that sort of sweet spot. So basically, I was going back to what I was saying earlier, in that, unless it's an amazingly special house that's got something going on with it, you can't command that 550. You've got to come in, and that's when it comes down to the marketing. You've got to stand out. That was the same number of bedrooms, not same type. So that was between detached, semi-detached, and terraced houses. pretty much it was mostly semis and detached, which is what we sort of deal with. But I was trying to get the point across that you've got to stand out in a sort of sea with all these properties on. You know, if you want to sell and you're motivated, then there's got to be something different. Otherwise, you're just going to sit on the market with the others that are overpriced. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting stuff. Michael, what would be the top 3 reasons, based in a normal market, that a client in your area should use you rather than the corporate agent, the independent agent, you know, with multiple branches? What would be the top 3 reasons you would say that someone should use you, now more important than ever, because of the way the market currently sits?
Communication, honesty, marketing.
So on the communication point, give us a brief on why you would communicate with a client differently to an office or a corporate agent locally.
Right. The communication I do is, I don't want to say instant, but for example, I have viewings today, and that homeowner, within 5 minutes of me locking up and leaving, knew the feedback, knew when I'd be going back for a second viewing. Those people who have sold, and I'm sort of seeing them through the process of it, I speak to them on a regular basis. They know exactly where they are and what's going on. Marketing, well, our marketing is brilliant. Of course, I'm going to say that, but it is. I love our videos and the way we portray the area and the property. And honesty, okay, of course we're going to say that, but because it's us, we're all the business owners of our own. I've got no reason to lie to you or make something up or try and, get rid of you by telling you something down the phone just to get you off the.
Do you think you put yourself under more pressure as a business owner who lives in the same community, that's got children and family in the same community, same schools as your clients? Does that mean that's why we're honest with everyone, is because we are the same people, we're the same community? So you're never going to get the bending of the truth, the lying and the kind of sales BS, because you are them effectively.
I saw 2, one buyer and one of my sellers at the school gates picking my door up a couple of hours ago. I could see them there, so there's no point making anything up. Just waste the time anyway. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Okay. And Andy, I know there's an apartment that was on the market with 3 estate agents in better buoyant markets to the time that you then listed it a couple of weeks ago. So 4th time of asking, the sellers reached out, they've come to you. They've obviously heard the rumours and they've gone, right, I need this man, he's the man for the job. But 3 agents failed. You've taken it to the market. You've sold it. A lot of people will turn around and say, well, all estate agents do the same thing. If that was the case, you wouldn't have sold it. How does it happen?
Well, the biggest one is obviously the business owner is doing the viewing. So it's not a case of your negotiator is trying to sell this flat for 60, 70 pounds commission. I'm in for all of it. So I need to sell this place. Otherwise, I've not got a salary to fall back on. If I don't sell houses, I've got to sell my own house. So the passion is there to sell the flat. I know the answers to the questions. I know the journey that the seller's going on. So we can sell it together. It's not a case of Chinese whispers through the office where sales manager wins listing, pass it on to senior negotiator, who passes it on to weekend negotiator. It's Andrew every single day. And we can answer questions. And I did a floor plan, which 2 of the 3 agents didn't do.
Wow. And a property video, which I'd imagine none of the agents did as well.
And a property video, which had a viewing request from TikTok, which I've never experienced before, but I can guarantee you the 3 agents didn't get a TikTok viewing request.
That needs to go on the CRM as a tick box. I think of all the questions we've had, just for the fact that Andy has just said, if I don't sell houses, I have to sell my own house.
I love that.
Although you've got one, like, no one can win this cap, this perfectly embroidered £99 made by princesses cap. than Andy for that. It's a hashtag that's got to go everywhere, to be fair. And yeah, absolutely love that. What a great explanation to why, if you're on the market, you're not sold, you're getting frustrated with the industry, with the agency, call Avocado. Even if you're in Portsmouth, Chris Gray will drive to you. He's happy to go anywhere and he will help you out. So if you're anywhere in the south, give us a shout. We will help you out. We'll put a plan of action together that will get you under offer. And just to go around the room very quickly, any little secret squirrel instructions that you want to share that might be coming to the market in the next couple of weeks? Georgina, ladies first. Anything on the bubble that you could give us a little hint and sniff around?
Yeah, I've got a 4-bedroom family house coming up, which is very nicely done inside.
Price
I don't
range?
know when. It could be next week. It could be the week after.
Price range?
500 plus.
Single garage?
Yes, it actually, yes, it's got a bigger than, larger than average garage.
Yeah. Tandem number. Love that. Andy, what about yourself? Anything on the bubble?
Yeah, still waiting. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Still waiting on a developer to finish a 4-bed detached in Sippenham. That'll be somewhere around 750. Driveway parking, those bits and pieces. Nice property.
Good stuff. Michael, anything that you've got that's worth sharing a little golden nugget on?
2-bed detached bungalow. Gold dust.
Wow.
Winner.
Okay.
In Holme Green. In a village, Holme Green up here. They're like gold dust.
Yeah. Well, they're getting bungalows getting rarer and rarer, aren't they? So, you know, that's a nice listen. Is it got a big garden, or is it kind of just nice?
Got 2 gardens at the back. It's like corner plot.
Okay.
So it's the sort of bungalow that probably won't be a bungalow in a few years' time. That's the thing.
Yeah, so potentially development opportunity as well, which someone will go for. Wow. Well, there's some exciting listings there that are all, you know, perfect for families or developers or whatever the case may be. Really interesting conversation, obviously, with the news that the base rate's gone up to the highest it's been since 2008. So summary of the chat really is we've seen a 0.5% increase on the base rate. Most mortgage lenders have already adjusted to that a week ago in anticipation for what's happened today. But if you're out there viewing and you've offered, lock in that rate now, because we will expect to see these continue to climb, hopefully not getting too out of control. But what does it mean to the economy? Well, I did my research, and the collective amount of people sat on variables and trackers now will pay an extra £3.1 billion in UK mortgage interest based off this change. It's a massive, massive impact to the economy. But to counter that, Liz Truss, the new Prime Minister, has put on her superhero cape, and she's flooded a little rumour out there that there's going to be a stamp duty change tomorrow, in almost a way of saying, there's the bad news, here's the good news, I'm the hero. We will see if she's got hero status tomorrow, depending on exactly what sort of change there is to the stamp duty.
The AT cut as well?
The mini budget's going to be an exciting one. We're all going to be glued to it. What I will say to anyone is, if you don't know already, we like to post a video on social media. Follow the pages, follow Georgina for updates, follow Andrew for updates, Michael for updates, follow the brand page. Make sure you're all over our socials, because if anything happens, we won't just give you the news, we'll give the digestion, the breakdown of what it means to the UK housing market and the local markets as well. We absolutely love that. So thank you for everyone that's watched. We'll be back 6 o'clock next Thursday, but we will be all over socials tomorrow, giving you an update on the mini budgets as well, and the coming weeks, how that unfolds. So Andrew, Georgina, Michael, thank you for your time. Enjoy your rest of your evenings.
Thank you.